I couldn't tell you any reason that sounds legitimate as to why I watched this show in the first place, let alone why I then decided to write a proper full-length glazed ham on it. I covered all 187 episodes. That took long enough, and then I went and did more of my usual bullshit for way too long. This is single-handedly the longest thing I've ever written, and that's not okay. This is an unbeatable record, a testament to man's stupidity, a monument of sin, an unholy vigil that's been a blight on my life since August 22nd, 2023, and has finally been laid to rest as of November 22nd, 2023, exactly 3 months after I started this nightmare. Basically, what you are about to hear has not been approved by the Vatican. Enough grandiose garbage, though. Let me tell you what you can expect from this beast. This is, somehow, the most self-indulgent essay I've ever done, which is quite a feat, all things considered. As such, you can expect an absurdly high volume of jokes, recurring bits, and gags that build endlessly off of themselves and don't make any sense without the context. This is what I mean when I say that this is the most self-indulgent essay I've ever done. I wrote this in a series of several delusions, and there are segments that I definitely don't remember writing, so there's a high likelihood that the story section is gonna get a little incoherent. This is intentional, as it reflects my deteriorating mental stability as the Stockholm Syndrome sets in the further I got. Also intentional are the myriad of misspellings and incorrect names you'll find throughout. Every choice I've made was calculated and intentional, and this essay is a flawless masterpiece. Just understand those things going in, and it'll make sense. For your sake, I would recommend watching this in chunks. I cannot imagine watching this all in one sitting. I'm editing this into multiple different videos for the sake of just making it easier on me. But that's besides the point. Really, just sit back, relax, and for the love of God, watch the story section recaps. I worked way too hard on this for you to just skip to the analysis and stuff. Think of all the jokes you'll have missed if you don't read it. Anyways, I want to note that the story recap has skipped large swaths of subplots, more so than a normal glazed ham essay, and that's for good reason. If you want the full One Tree Hill experience, I can't tell you to watch it all in good conscience. This is a monumental undertaking, so instead of taking it on yourself, listen to the tale of the man who did it so you don't have to. Without further ado, please enjoy A Leg of Glazed Ham is committing to the bit and is talking about One Tree Hill. I have a confession to make. I have never watched any of the shitty 2000s teen dramas that I'm constantly trashing. I know, I'm a hack fraud, but as of today, I'm going to begin a journey through the quintessential shitty teen drama, One Tree Hill. That's right, I'm watching this dumpster fire, all 187 episodes, and I'm going to talk about it for a while. I mean, the entire show is like 137 hours, which means I've got my work cut out for me, and then I have to do my standard glazed ham things. What are those things, you may ask? Good question, I still haven't figured that out. So you'll discover it along with me after you witness the horrors that I'm about to endure so you don't have to. Strap in because we've got a long journey ahead, full of high school romance, 2000s music, underage drinking, teenage pregnancies, drunk driving, car accidents, divorce, heart diseases, hospital visits, child kidnapping, attempted murder, actual murder, evil heart surgery, and most importantly, basketball. I do mean long journey. There's no story as incomprehensible and needlessly convoluted as this. I suppose you could only say that there really is only one Tree Hill. Kill me now. Dung, dung.
I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and I have peace of mind. I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and I have peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around rooms, wondering what I gotta do or who I'm supposed to be. I don't wanna be anything other than me.
Take a moment to imagine a small town in North Carolina. A small town that runs along a river, where high school basketball is the most important thing you can do. A town where one family is somehow the center of everything. The town is Tree Hill, North Carolina, and the family is the fractured Scott family. This story starts by being about the trials and tribulations of the half-brothers Lucas and Nathan. Nathan has everything. His parents are rich, he lives in a big house, he's the star player for the Tree Hill Ravens, he's got a very hot in an early 2000s kind of way, kinda emo girlfriend named Peyton, and he's on track to be a professional NBA sports baller. One problem, though, his life kinda sucks. His dad, Dan Scott, is an asshole on an unprecedented level. He wants nothing more than to control every aspect of his son's life, and he'll stop at nothing to make sure his boy gets into the NBA. Also, his boy is kind of an asshole because he treats Peyton like dog shit. They constantly fight, constantly break up and get back together, and quite frankly, they're just together for the sex. Dan Scott sure doesn't care, and why would he? His son is on track to be basketball. His life is perfect, right? Wrong! See, Dan has a dirty little secret, except that secret is like 6'2" and is named Lucas. That's right, Dan was a little freak in high school and he got a girl pregnant. He then left town to go to college to play ball, only to get another girl pregnant. Ain't that some shit? Anyways, Lucas is the opposite of Nathan. Lucas is a genuinely good guy, a real human being, and a real hero. More on that later. He's poor, lives with his single mother Karen. He does play basketball, but only down at the local park's court, the River Court. Out there, he's a legend and easily rivals Nathan, but he'll never conform to the system. He's a lot like Peyton, actually, but whatever. The first episode starts with the Tree Hill Ravens winning a b-ball game, while simultaneously Lucas wins at the local park's court. After the game, Nathan and the team start partying a little too hard with some underage drinking and some GTA, because they stole a school bus. For comparison, Lucas is walking home. Peyton is driving home and she almost runs over Lucas because she's looking for music, but she manages to stop before disaster. Nathan and the boys almost get hit by a train but manage to stop before disaster. The basketball bus incident makes the news, and nearly the entire team is up for review the next day. A lot of the guys were varsity and heavily intoxicated, including Nathan. Coach, my hero, lists off the students who aren't getting kicked off the team, and Nathan makes the cut. His dad 100% engaged in a little bribery and threatens to make all this go away for Nathan. He doesn't actually care about what Nathan did, he just cares about his potential NBA career. But more relevant to the point, Coach has an opening in his lineup, and he's got to fill it fast. Dan berates Coach for suspending half the team, and we cut back to Lucas and the boys shooting b-ball in their neighborhood. They're shooting the shit, and we establish that Lucas is more than a basketball because he reads. Peyton drives past the court, and Lucas is lost in thought. Eventually, he heads home to his mom's cafe. Here is where we meet Haley James, who isn't related to the Scotts at all, but she's basically Lucas's little sister. They make a jab at Dawson's Creek, funny because Lucas's actor was in that show, and also Gossip Girl, which implies the existence of the Chad Michael Murray multiverse. And she then gives Lucas a copy of Julius Caesar, which will be important in 5 seasons. As Lucas and family have dinner, Lucas's Uncle Keith, may as well be dad, has a meeting with Coach. They drink a little, and eventually Keith tries to convince Coach that he should recruit Lucas. They watch the boy dominate the River Court. Cut to Peyton and Nathan fighting as per usual because Nathan is a rat bastard, and don't worry, he's going to be more of a rat bastard. Next day, the coach retrieves Lucas to try and recruit the boy, because as he says, "Look, I've got an opening in my lineup, varsity." Lucas makes some snarky remark and leaves, because he's got morals or something. He loves the boys at the River Court and he won't play with Nathan's team of motley idiots. Coach leaves a jersey for Lucas, he tries it on, and Lucas's mom damn near has a heart attack over her boy playing for the team. Lucas and mom talk, and eventually she wants him to basketball because they have a good relationship. This is juxtaposed with Dan and Nathan lifting weights and Dan berating his son's lack of skills and fear over Lucas joining the team. Nathan and his lackey, Tim, show up to the park to bully the bastard Spawn. Nathan goes on a diatribe about how nobody wants Lucas, and he says, quote, "My girlfriend sure as hell doesn't want you," which is horrendously ironic foreshadowing. He then challenges Lucas to a 1v1 where if Lucas wins, he gets to join the team, and if Nathan wins, Lucas can go crawl off and die. Lucas and Haley James have a conversation, and Lucas continues to be a smart boy by talking about how a group of ravens is called an unkindness. This will be important in approximately 3 to 4 seasons from now. Anyways, Peyton's car breaks down and she needs a tow. Lo and behold, Lucas works for Keith Scott Body Shop, which means he's on the job. Keith convinces the boy to play ball, but he's got a car to go take to the shop. Lucas and Peyton finally speak for the first time, and Lucas's first move is not very smooth. He makes a music reference and she kinda hates him. She goes to call Nathan to get a ride, and he, being the shitlord that he is, says no. Lucas offers her a ride into town, and she continues to hate him. He asks her why she's also a cheerleader when she clearly isn't into it. Eventually, Peyton realizes that Nathan isn't coming, and she starts talking to our boy. She talks about how guys are jerks and all that jazz, before realizing that Lucas is actually a good dude, even if he's the bastard spawn. Lo and behold, this was the start of something. Something montage, basketball challenges, and Dan being a dick to everyone. Keith and Karen flirting, and the moments before the game. The brothers are on the court, and y'all ready for this? Come on and jam! Welcome to the slam! Sorry. Because the brothers are ballin', and of course, Lucas just wrecks shop, even when Nathan fouls him in the face. Even when it's game point, Lucas stays cool and wins the match, cause he's just that good. Nathan is about to go psychotic over this. Anyways, Lucas and Peyton talk after the game, and she asks him what he bet. He bet that if he won, Nathan stays on the team, and the episode ends with Lucas reading shit at us. Some song from the 2000s playing, shots around town, and it feels like the ending of a Life is Strange chapter. From here on out, I'm going to be a bit looser in the recaps, because I'm only going to cover what I feel like is absolutely necessary for the larger point of the series. Okay? Episode 2, Lucas joins the team and the hazing begins. We get to see some of the cheerleaders, and we see Peyton and her best friend Brooke Davis, who will be incredibly important. Lucas intentionally messes with Peyton and all that shit. Lucas eventually gets benched, and we get an intro. We get the intro! Yeah, baby! Sorry, you have no idea how important that intro will become to have keeping me sane. Anyhow, Peyton and Nathan are making out before he ruins everything by being a dick. They fight and she gets out of the car, she has to walk home now, and this is why you don't date a dude like Nathan. Lucas is out on the river court and Peyton is there. They talk and they kinda flirt, kinda not. She mostly just wants a ride home. Dan watches a recording of the game and bullies Nathan again, like always. Cut back to Lucas and Peyton, and them talking about b-ball and why they do the things they do. She asks if he'd like to come into her house when they're sitting outside of the front of her house. And when he gets to the door, she denies him entry because she didn't actually invite him in. It's kind of funny. Peyton sketches, Nathan calls her, and they don't break up for some godforsaken reason. Oh hey, we're in high school. We get a scene where the teacher asks people to describe different classmates, and Nathan and Lucas get into a fight, and it's kind of based. Brooke and Peyton be talking. Brooke thinks Lucas is fine, except for the fact that he's poor. Get it? Because she's a shallow cheerleader with rich parents. Lucas is on the job. He sees Peyton's sketches and she gets mad at him. Wow, high school, am I right? Lucas and his mom fight. They immediately make up. Nathan and Dan fight and they don't make up. Yada yada, basketball. There is one dude on the team who isn't a complete ass, and his name is Jake. He looks out for Lucas because he's a good guy, damn it. Something Lucas trying to help Peyton find her dreams, and I wonder if I know what it means to watch this trash TV. Peyton wants to submit her sketches to a local paper, but she won't because she thinks they mean nothing. Lucas gets an idea. More montages, more fighting, another Dawson's Creek jab. Both Scots want to quit b-ball, but they won't. Peyton throws away her sketches, but Lucas takes them to the paper anyways because he's gonna be her hero. Regardless of everything, the boys come back to basketball. Lucas tells Peyton that her art matters and it's what got him there tonight. Then the game starts and the boys be ballin'. Episode 3. The game is nearing the end. There's 18 seconds on the clock. Nathan shoots and fails, but the rebound goes to Lucas, who hits a 3 and wins the game. Nathan and Dan are in distress, but our boy be ballin'. Speaking of ballin', Lucas gets into his car only to find a naked Brooke Davis in the back seat. She's flirting with him only for him to be saved by the coach, telling him that he's got to start hitting the weight room because he's a scrawny bastard. Brooke Davis tells him that the popularity thing ain't so bad, and then we get the intro, baby! God, I love the shitty opening sequence, and the song just really sets the tone. Anyways, Peyton is trying to get it on with Nathan, but he's too busy thinking about how his dad is going to hammer him for not getting the game-winning shot. Nathan proves that he's a shitty boyfriend when he doesn't even know that Peyton's walls were covered in her sketches. Time passes with scenes I don't care about, and Peyton discovers that Lucas submitted her sketches for her. Anyways, local town traditions, girls hitting on Lucas, and oh hey look, Peyton's here, and Peyton is pissy! But for good reason, as she's mad that he submitted her sketches without her permission. Brooke Davis also shows up for the bra that she left in his car. He returns it because he's a good person. Cut to Brooke and Peyton walking and talking, and she mentions how Lucas didn't do anything with her, which apparently is an uncommon occurrence. Brooke says he's just a good guy when Peyton suggests that he's gay. Ah, that 2000s homophobia. Anyhows, Lucas took a shower in the school locker room and someone stole all his shit, so he had to walk around naked. Whatever, doesn't matter. Life goes on, and the basketball goes on. Dan continues verbally abusing Nathan. Nathan then ups the attacks, starts stealing Lucas's shorts, jerseys, etc., and it escalates to him trying to get with Haley James as a means of getting into Lucas's head. How little he knows. Peyton then has a meeting with Thud, the local newspaper I mentioned, and the job's hers. Brooke keeps hitting on Lucas. Peyton asks her why she hasn't moved on to the next guy like usual, and Brooke pieces together that Peyton has a thing for Lucas, despite her desperate attempts to deny it. Trust me, she'll be the last person to realize this. Maybe second only to Lucas himself. Anyhows, things happen and Lucas finds his beloved river court trashed. He gets to work on cleaning it, and oh no way, Peyton's here! They talk about being ready to find your dreams, and she says thanks for helping her get the job, and sorry for Nathan just killing his beloved court. He asks her why she always stays with Nathan, and she essentially confirms that she's lonely as all hell, and that sometimes Nathan is the only one there. Anyway, Nathan and the basketball team kidnap Lucas and take him to the middle of nowhere, like 12 miles away from town. Lucas walks home covered in mud, but he won't back down. He's gonna knock down some shots because he's just cool like that. Haley James is selling her soul by tutoring Nathan as a means of securing protection for Lucas. What a shameful way to die. Anyhows, on a study session / date the next day or whatever, Nathan gives her a plastic bracelet from a Cracker Jack box, and they kind of have some chemistry going between them. A lot more than he and Peyton did. Anyhows, let this nightmare continue. Yeah? Episode 4, Lucas is poor, Lamau. Also, Nadahan's mom is home from work. Surely this won't cause any conflict, right? The boys be playing basketball and working as a team now. Cool, everything's great, and Lucas gets invited to the post-game party. Against all odds, he shows up, and shit hits the fan in the least interesting way possible. Lucas and Peyton talk. Nathan sees this and decides to play an old tape of Karen and Dan's senior year prom. Lucas and Peyton have a good conversation, and then Lucas hears the video playing. Lucas takes it like a champ and leaves, and everyone sees Nathan as the asshole he is. Anyhows, Nathan steals Peyton's car and does a little drink driving because he's based like that. He crashes it, and Lucas is the only witness. Considering that he's a good guy, he takes the fall because he'll do anything for love, including repairing a stranger's car. Anyhows, He discovers that Haley James is tutoring Nathan because he finds Haley's hat in Peyton's car. I don't care, man. This show is terrible. Anyways, after a pointless mom diversion, we cut back to Nathan and Peyton, and it's fight night, baby! Woo! Just like always. Anyways, more pointless scenes later, and Peyton pieces together that Nathan stole her car, and we're back to the pointless scenes. We're back to the Nathan-Peyton plot because it's so over for them. Finally, she stood up for herself. Lucas is still working on the car late into the night, and we get the Life is Strange-esque ending montage. Yeehaw! God, we're only 4 episodes in out of 187. There is no God in Tree Hill. Episode 5. Peyton runs red lights because she wants the sweet release of death. It's actually how her mom died, and she's currently very lost and lonely. Lucas and Haley James fight, and Lucas sees Peyton run like 5 consecutive red lights. Nathan is in denial over him and Peyton being over, and we don't care. Brooke Davis is hitting on Lucas, and I kinda don't care. Lucas and Haley James are kinda fighting, and I don't care. Peyton has a breakdown and leaves in the middle of cheer practice, and now you have my attention. Peyton's at her mom's gravestone and she fails to light a ciggy, knowing she needs a new bad habit now that Nathan has left. Coach shows up because his wife is dead, and he offers comfort to Peyton because he's the wise old coach, like Gandalf. But it doesn't mean shit because she'll run those damn red lights until she dies. Lucas hops in the car and tries to convince her to stop, but she won't. He's a hero, but sometimes the only way someone can be saved is if they save themselves or something. I don't know, this show has turned my brain to mashed potatoes. Keith and Dan be fighting over the father-son basketball game or something that was mentioned earlier in the episode, and it means nothing. You know they hate each other and that Dan is a terrible piece of shit, blah blah blah. Lucas finds Peyton chilling on a bridge. They talk about her dad not being in town because he's a boatman or something. Lucas offers some warped comfort for everything, and Peyton's home now. Nathan visits, and he's a rat bastard gross little nematode. She kicks him out and shuts him down. Kinda based. Let him suffer. Anyhows, Peyton is attempt the red light drive death again, while the boys are bawling against their dads. Dan is taking it way too seriously, and everyone is uncomfortable. Nathan literally throws the game to prove a point that his dad is a worthless cuck who doesn't even deserve his best game. It's great. Peyton didn't die, and she came to the game, but not for Nathan, like he naively thinks. She's come to terms and stopped running the red lights. Episode 6 of 187. The team goes on an away game to the middle of nowhere. They win, but due to some Nathan and Lucas shenanigans, i.e. fighting, Coach makes them walk home because they have to learn to work together or something. They begin hitchhiking down a long and lonesome road when suddenly there shined a shiny headlight in the middle of the road. The headlight belongs to some of those hicks they just beat, so long story short, they get kidnapped because Nathan's a dumbass and Lucas isn't gonna let him die. Also, Brooke Davis got injured in Nathan and Lucas's fight, so she's just high out of her mind on painkillers. Peyton has to take a very high Brooke home, and since Haley James doesn't have a ride, the 3 main girls go on a road trip, while the 2 main boys are going through hell. The basketballers are put through a series of trials, the girls talk and bond, and all that shit. The boys eventually learn the importance of working together, Haley and Peyton bond while siphoning someone's gas, and the boys escape against all odds and maybe have a little respect for each other by the end of the night. And eventually, after walking down the road, the girls find the boys. While they've had a fun night, the boys have been to hell and back. Something society. Am I right? Episode 7 of 187. It's party time, baby! We get some opening dialogue with Peyton and Brooke Davis talking about boys and who they want, and they both flirts with Lucas. Who's it gonna be, girl? Anyways, b-ball practice comes and Jake is back. He's been coming in late constantly, and no one knows why Coach is going soft on him. Anyhows, party time is tomorrow, and Lucas needs a new jacket. Cut back and forth for prep, and see Brooke and Peyton Sawyer. See Brooke stir some drama through the powers of the horn, etc., etc. Remember, kids, quote, just be careful. Anyways, the party starts and goes late into the night. Peyton and Nathan have an awkward interaction, realize it's so Jover for them, blah blah blah. The night goes on, and Lucas is gonna talk to Peyton when Brooke interrupts. She's aggressively horny, and Lucas just isn't interested. But she's distracting Lucas in an effort to smash, and have wacky misunderstandings ensue. The night goes on, and the night goes on, and the night goes on. Brooke gives up and causes more chaos by reading stuff in Nathan's drawers that she wasn't supposed to. So she'll weaponize this later. Woo. After a wacky game of truth or dare, Peyton runs off and Lucas goes after her. Brooke has lost any chance tonight, so she's out for blood, I guess. Lucas and Peyton talk, flirt, and oops, Haley James spots them about to start kissing. Damn, my boy just can't catch a break tonight. Anyways, they chat deep into the night, and eventually she takes him upstairs. Simultaneously, Haley James and Nathan catch up and talk, but oops, here comes Brooke Davis to screw things up, and she does. Wow, who could have seen this coming? Cut back to Lucas and Peyton, and they're about to get it on, until Lucas says he wants to be with Peyton, and she just shuts down and leaves. Damn, my boy just can't catch a break tonight. And then Dan comes up and chastises him. He goes to leave, Brooke tries to hit on him one last time, he skedaddles, and she's alone for the night. Lucas heads to the cafe and finds Jaylee Hames crying on the floor, and they comfort each other and all that because they're good friends. He goes home. Nathan then grows a conscience and goes to apologize to Haley before she shuts him out. He feels guilt. Anyways, cut back to Jake to find out he's actually a single dad with an infant baby. Holy shit, who could have seen that coming besides everyone? Nathan goes home, finds a drunken, passed out Brooke on his bedroom floor, and Peyton's alone, sketching and crying in her room, feeling sorry for herself. Wah, wah. Next episode. Episode 8 of 187. Brooke wakes up in Peyton's room. They talk about not having the night they hoped they would have, and oops, Peyton's afraid of commitment. Anyways, Brooke feels like shit, so she's on a crusade to get Nathan and Haley back together, so she sets up a date for him. Also, Mom goes off to culinary school in Italy for 6 weeks. Anyways, because they feel sorry for themselves, Brooke Davis and Peyton go off to a college party, and surprise, surprise, Peyton gets roofied and almost sexually assaulted. But she's saved by Lucas, who comes as soon as Brooke calls him. Nathan and Haley have a really nice date thanks to Brooke, and Lucas was playing some street ball with the boys before he had to go be Peyton's hero. He shows up and then he just beats the shit out of the would-be rapist because he's a good person. Lucas takes Peyton home and he continues to just be the greatest guy possible, you know? I mean that without a hint of irony, like he's genuinely just a good guy. Like he stays over just to make sure she's okay and keep Brooke company. They talk like real people for once, and Brooke manages to keep it in her pants for once in her goddamn life. Nathan and Jaylee Hames' date gets interrupted by the Deus Ex basketball boys, and then it all ends horrendously wrong for him. Peyton wakes up, she thanks Lucas and apologizes for all sorts of things. And Lucas takes Brooke to get her car back, she kisses him on the cheek, and Lucas finally goes home. Mom decides to go to Italy. Uncle Keith is going to stay over during that time. That's my boy. Nathan is throwing rocks outside of Haley's house to try and get her attention to apologize. They kiss, surprising nobody. Also, I've neglected to mention that Nathan's mom, Deb, and Lucas's mom, Karen, have been becoming friends, and since she needs someone to keep the cafe open so she can go to Italy, she hires Deb. Lucas plays b-ball with the boys. Brooke comes to watch Dan and Deb fight, as I've continuously ignored. Keith takes Karen to the airport, she kisses him, and gets on her flight. End of episode, shots around town occur, and everything feels like it's going well. Episode 9 out of 187. Peyton friend-zoned herself with Lucas, Nathan and Jaylee Hames kiss, and all is well. Until Coach breaks the news to the boys that if they lose to Cove City on Friday, quote, the sun will not rise the next day. Since Peyton friend-zoned herself, Brooke is able to make her move on Lucas, so they come to an agreement that if she reads a book, don't care enough to rewind and check what that book actually is, they'll go and do something of her choice. Dan and Nathan have a Sawyer family dinner, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Sawyer family, not to be confused with Peyton Sawyer character from this show. And it pushes Nathan to the point where he starts taking amphetamines to improve his performance due to the pressure. Nathan goes hyper-aggressive ape mode, and everyone's concerned. Anyways, back to the Brooke subplot for the episode. She and Luke go drinking and get tattoos, make out, and all that shit. Jathan and Haley Dames have a study date that he ruins by getting a little handsy, thus getting him kicked out of the house. Anyways, Lucas comes home a wee bit drunk, which Keith takes surprisingly well. What he doesn't take well is him having a tattoo, and he grounds him. It's pretty funny, actually. Anyways, life goes on, and oh look, it's game day, baby! Nathan is going way too hard on his amps, and he's an angry little rat bastard. His bad luck catches up to him when he plays too hard and his heart gives out. Nathan almost dies mid-game and he's carted off to the hospital. Then he admits that his dad put him under too much pressure, so he took some performance-enhancing drugs and all that shit. So, life is great? Oh, yeah, Dan didn't tell Deb that her son was in the hospital because he's Parent of the Year. Whoa. Keith and Coach drink, talk about basketball and all that shits. But then Dan and Deb fight and she kicks him out of the house. Nathan then spends the night at Haley's, and what's this? Peyton is going over to Lucas's house to confess. Aw, how sweet. Wait, Brooke is there and she's ready to get it on with him. Damn it! God, it's almost like this is a plot device for them to not be able to get together until like season 4, which really means until season 5, which really means season 6. Sky's the limit when there's shitty drama to be had. Also, due to Nathan's almost death, basketball is canceled. SMH my age, man. So, yeah, things are pretty awkward now. Considering what happened with Peyton last night, it's been a little rough. But hey, Lucas has Brooke, I guess. At least Nathan and Jaylee Hames are on good terms. Speaking of, Lucas and Haley talk a bit, Luke drinks a Pepsi, and oh hey, look, Brooke Davis and Peyton are avoiding the Lucas in the room. Oh yeah, basketball is still canceled. Lucas goes to try and talk to Peyton, but she shuts him down because he and Brooke make a good couple, and quote, Brooke is my best friend. Keep in mind that this show came out after The Room, which means you know where this is going. Brooke says that Peyton's her best friend, and all I can think about is the "you're tearing me apart, Lisa" tapestry that I have on my wall. Anyways, Nathan comes home and Dan tries to take him on a trip that he desperately doesn't want to go on. Anyways, Brooke is off to go see Lucas, and they're out shopping. Lucas runs into Deb at the grocery store and she witnesses him buying condoms and whipped cream with Brooke. Anyways, Deb and Haley have a plan to do an open mic night at the cafe. Haley gets Peyton to make flyers. Keith and Lucas fight. Dan and Nathan fight. Life is strange like that, I suppose. Time goes on. Lucas finds out about Jakey's baby and that her mother is out of the picture. Blah blah, life goes on. Brooke is my best friend. Nathan tells his dad that he should just divorce his mom because he's such an abusive cuck, and it's hilarious. Also, Peyton runs into actual musician Gavin DeGraw and convinces him to do open mic night. This is worth noting because his song, I Don't Wanna Be, is the theme song for the show, and it's terrible, but it's so great. Shit's awkward with Brooke and Peyton because Peyton won't ever admit that she loves Lucas. Open mic night is awkward until Jakey comes in with baby in tow and he performs. Peyton watches and kind of starts to fall a bit for Jakey. I wouldn't say anything more than a bit because we all know how these shows go. She still wants Lucas, and this is just a distraction because Brooke is her best friend and she'd never betray her. Lucas invites Nathan to join him and some of the fellas for some b-ball at the River Court tomorrow, and we see them being friends. It's kind of sweet, honestly. And all of this is while I Don't Wanna Be is playing in the background. God, It's so funny. Anyways, also funny is how Deb wants to get family therapy because she's trying so hard to not just immediately divorce Dan. Anyhows, next episode! Episode 11 of 187. It's therapy time! And Danny Boy is being a hostile little lad, constantly lashing out over his insatiable lust for basketball. Nathan wants to quit basketball and Dan storms out. When outside, Nathan decides to just leave both of his shitlord parents. Anyways, Lucas and Brooke are in the library, and it highlights their differences when she just wants to get out and they trespass into someone's hot tub. Man, these two were not built to last. More on Dan and Deb fighting, and then Lucas goes to investigate Peyton's house when he sees the front door slightly ajar, and he hears weird noises from the kitchen. It turns out to be her dad, but he doesn't know this when he almost hits him with the rake. Anyways, cut to school. Brooke Davis has a thing for Peyton's dad, who most certainly does not have it going on. Peyton tries to help Brooke score some points with Lucas through a CD, but Brooke doesn't remember the specific songs, so it backfires. Lol. Nathan and Jaylee Hames talk about how he's feeling without basketball, about his parents' long drawn-out not divorce, and I don't care. Lucas talks with Peyton about her attempted Cyrano de Bergerac CD, but they're both oblivious to their whole thing. He just sits and reads while she draws, and continues to ignore the obvious tension in the room. Nathan pays a visit to Keith, and he offers him some good old uncle advice. Jaylee Hames goes to Peyton for Nathan advice. Peyton heads to cheer practice, and she talks with Brooke. Brooke feels inferior to Lucas because he's an art man, and she has nothing. Peyton also has nothing. But when Jakey comes in with his big mistakey, Peyton jumps at the chance to watch the baby while he bawls. Nahatan and Nand have another awkward dinner full of ye ol' verbal abuse and all that. Dan pays Keith a visit the next day, they argue and blah blah, tensions rise. Jakey and Peyton talk as they walk through school, and once again, you see her trying her damnedest to forget that she wants Lucas. Nathan and Jaylee Hames skip school and go drinking at his beach house, only to get caught by Dan. Haley James throws up on Dan, and it's great. He deserved it. Anyways, Peyton and her dad Larry go to dinner, and he's going off on another assignment that'll make a bunch of money. Anyways, he calls Lucas over because Karen's cafe, and they talk about books and shit. Brooke was coming to see him, and she sees family dinner and feels kinda shitty about it. Brooke thought it felt like a date between Lucas and Peyton, but Peyton thinks it was more like a date between Lucas and her dad. Anyhows, another therapy session occurs, and it's going poorly. Coach and Nathan talk. Coach continues to be the hero of the story. Brooke and Peyton talk about Lucas, blah blah, insecurity issues. Lucas and Peyton's dad talk. Nathan and Haley talk, etc. Peyton talks to Lucas, but he gets interrupted by Larry saying that he took a different job that he'll be back from in 3 weeks before he only takes local jobs. He's only in like 4 episodes, including this one. Lucas heads home. Brooke is there. They talk. Lucas continues to just be the best guy. Brooke has the whole, "you're the nicest guy I've ever dated" moment. They kiss, and then we see Nathan try to apologize to his abusive shitlord dad, and we get the first Ryan Adams song, Shadowlands, in the series. This will be on the test. Nathan gives up on b-ball, lol. Shots around town, music, not saving room for Jesus, etc. Oh yeah, and Lucas reciting The Little Prince at us. Can't forget that.
Dung, dung. I don't wanna be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me, and I have peace of mind. I don't wanna be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me, and I have peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around rooms wondering what I gotta do or who I'm supposed to be. I don't wanna be anything other than me.
Episode 12 of 187. It's Peyton time! She's on a call with her dad when Brooke and boy toy Lucas come rolling in. They've been drafted to help fix her dad's car, with Lucas doing the actual repairing of the engine and shits, while her and Brooke do the cleaning and waxing and all that shit because it's the 2000s, baby! Anyways, over at the Scott residence, Dan's parents come to town unannounced, and Deb and Dan be fighting because Danny boy doesn't want a divorce. Anyways, back to car shenanigans. Brooke and Lucas be mackin' face when Peyton finds out Larry's in the middle of a Category 3 hurricane. Blah blah, Nathan invites Jaylee Hames to the family dinner, and oops, it's time for dinner. And all of the Scotts are here. We've got the grandparents, Dan and Deb, Nathan and Keith, Haley and Coach. Wait, Coach is here? Hell yeah, that's my boy! Anyways, back to the hurricane plotline. They've recovered a body from a wrecked boat, and it might be Peyton's dad. Peyton is gonna go there, and Brooke sends Lucas to go with her to help hold her together. Surely this cannot end poorly. Anyways, awkward family dinner occurs, awkward drive occurs, and oops, they gotta get a motel room, and oops, there's only one bed. Oh no, who couldn't have seen this coming? And who couldn't have seen it coming when Lucas continues to just be the best guy? Yeah, nothing happens. Anyway, after that Sawyer family dinner incident, Nathan continues to grow because of Jaylee Hames. He continues to talk with his dad and they keep making things worse. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, back to Lucas. He's got to comfort Peyton as she's having a crisis over her Schrodinger's dad. And back to Tree Hill, Dan and Deb keep fighting and divorce is on the horizon. But who cares? Back to Lucas. It's time to cross the bridge and confirm if the body is or isn't Larry. They go, and thank God, Larry is A-okay. They're about to head home, but oh egads, Peyton left her bracelet in the motel. They've got to go get it back. They find it, Peyton starts crying, and when she hugs Lucas, she looks him in the eyes and kisses the boy, Brooke be damned. God damn it, Lucas, you were the good brother. I expected this shit from Nathan, not you. Anyways, they're making out when they suddenly grow a consciousness and remember Brooke Davis. Damn, she almost got what she wanted. Anyways, back to the Scott residence, it's time for an awkward breakfast. But it's not awkward as they drive home. They'd both try to deny their feels, and because this is only season 1, they can't be happy yet. Actually, nobody can. Oh yeah, Nathan joins B-Ball again. That's nice. Episode 13 of 187. Jaylee Hames has a dream sequence with Tim in a cheerleading uniform, missing a single free throw, and her waking up in a cold sweat. Lucas and Peyton keep avoiding telling Brooke about what happened, and we're back in therapy. Dan goes off on a psychotic rant about a dude cutting his own arm off to be freed after it got crushed by a 1,000-pound boulder or something as a metaphor for why he abandoned Lucas. Anyways, after dramatically looking in the mirror, Lucisa realizes he can't deny his feelings for Peyton, but Peyton tries to be like, but Brooke's my best friend, and she tries to deny that it meant something. They kiss again, and Lucas tries to win her over, but it's not meant to be. Also, Lucas's mom is coming home tomorrow, this will be on the test, blah blah, romantic scene where Nathan teaches Jaylee Hames how to shoot a free throw, Coach thinks about retiring after his 500th win, etc, etc, and awkward shenanigans as Peyton and Lucas continue to pussyfoot around the issue. Brooke and Lucas have a moment and it kinda hurts. Peyton and Jaylee Hames talk and continue to dance around the issue. Coach does his thing and he'll never retire. I mean, he's never gonna die, but his wife already has. Danny and Keith fight. Danny almost cheats on his wife, and Keith has a couple of beers before going to pick up Karen. Lucas and Peyton continue sneaking around. They kiss in the library. This library will be much important later. And oopsie, Jaylee Hames sees them. She confronts Lucas later. They argue and fight, and it's that teen drama, baby. Anyhows, Peyton's about to fess up to Brooke, but we cut to Nathan and Jaylee Hames, and Nathan just screws it all up. Dan screws it all up, and the boys are going to pick up Karen. But wait, what's this? Oh, hell yeah, baby. It's car crash time! Lucas gets hammered by a truck, and he's got to get hospitalized. Actually, Dan was nearby and saw the crash occur, and he carries Lucas to the hospital. Dan actually saved Keith and Lucas, but he's got to give parental permission to perform surgery on Lucas, which is the first time Danny Boy has acknowledged Lucas as his son. Thank God Lucas needed surgery, because it means nobody's going to talk about the whole Peyton thing. Episode 14 of 187. Lucas flatlines, but don't worry, he comes back. Jaylee Hames freaks out at Nathan over his comments, but he's spared by the Keith call, and Peyton is saved by the Jaylee Hames call, right as she's about to tell Brooke about the Lucas thing. Karen's at the hospital, Keith tells her about Dan being a hero, Lucas got out of surgery and he's fine, but he's down a spleen. Anyways, teen dramatics shit occurs, and oops, Karen finds out that Keith had a 0.07 blood alcohol content, which means he was almost drunk driving. They fight, and Keith leaves completely broken and dejected. He was about to ask her to marry him that night, so guess that's out of the question now. Peyton goes and visits the comatose boy, tells him that she'll always be there for him. When Mom Scott comes in, they chat about Peyton's dead mom, and Karen calls her a good friend. Then Brooke shows up, and everything's ultra awkward now. Woo! Anyways, fighting, hospital scenes, Mom discovers his tattoo, Coach visits, the River Court boys record a special video for the boy, and Dan and Deb are getting a divorce. Let's go! Yes! Except Dan just straight up refuses to get a divorce. Peyton and Jaylee Hames talk, and they bond over how Lucas is such a good guy and how he's a reliable guy. How they want to tell him that HJ loves him platonic and PS is in love with him romantic. Anyways, Brooke and Mom Scott talk and bond, and Brooke starts to come out of her shell. Peyton makes the rounds and talks to Jaylee Hames, Jakey, Nathan, and all that, and she helps them all out one way or another. Anyways, at the hospital, Karen discovers that Keith literally sold everything to pay off Lucas's hospital bill. Karen and Brooke bond, Deb and Karen bond, Deb's divorce attorney visits Dan, and he just continues to be comically evil. Nathan visits Lucas in the hospital, and bitch, he back out, he coma! Everyone rejoices. Episode 15 out of 187. Now that Lucas isn't in the hospital anymore, he heads home. Brooke is there, and she redecorated his entire bedroom. His mom leaves them alone, and he just straight up dumps her, despite everything. He gives some bullshit excuses, but we all know. Speaking of, quote, he gives some bullshit excuses, Dan is trying his damnedest to stop the divorce from going through, and it's hilarious. Anyways, Lucas tries to shoot some hoops, and who's that girl? It's Peyton! And they start making out, but wait, it was all a dream? Whoa. Anyways, Jaylee Hames is here, and they talk a bit until Peyton's here. They start doing they thing, talking about Brooke and how they need to tell her the thing, and they say they'll tell her together about the betrayal in a few days. Anyways, Lucas is at the River Court for real this time, and his mom jokes that she'll have to tie him to his bed in order for him to rest, and he tells his mom about the breakup. Anyways, Brooke is a shattered mess, but Jaylee Hames is doing just fine with Nathan. Speaking of Nathan, did you know the Constitution says you have rights? It does, and somewhere in the US legal code is a little thing called emancipation, which means Nathan could go live on his own instead of with either of his shit-ass parents. He's gonna pursue this like a champ. That night, Jakey comes over to Lucas's house and gives him the team's gift, a PS2, but it's only got basketball games and not anything cool. Damn, I would have loved to see his reaction to Shadow of the Colossus. Anyways, basketball. Jakey needs a part-time job, Luke will put in a good word at the cafe, etc, etc. Oh hey, Keith is here now, and the boy and his uncle dad talk, etc, etc. Jakey gets the job, but he has to constantly leave to take care of the baby. Despite breaking up, Brooke comes over anyway, and she bonds with Karen over her trip to Italy, and Brooke, despite it all, still has hope that they can get back together once he's better. But he overhears this and heads to Peyton's because he's a bit of a shitball, which was a hard turn from him being the best guy. Lucas reaches Peyton's house, and oopsie, he's burning to death like a sinner. That's my boy! And of course, he's in the hospital again. But he lies and says he went to the River Court when his mom asks him where he went. They get home that night, and Mother starts grilling him on how he's been a piece of shit, and they get into it over pushing people out of your life. Blah blah, life goes on, and Karen goes to see Keith. They kinda argue a bit, but who cares? Peyton's coming to visit Lucas. They talk outside about Brooke and their guilt and whatever. Nathan goes to see Jaylee Hames and they have some kind of romantic moment together, and she sings him a song at the cafe. She plays the song that gives us our shots around town this episode, which ends with Brooke coming to see Peyton, and oopsie, she found out. Yikes! Safe to say their friendship is over because everybody betray me. I am fed up with this world. Episode 16 of 187. It's the next day, and Brooke is giving Peyton and Lucas the cold shoulder. Jakey comes up to Peyton and asks her, what's going on here? But he's really here to ask if she could babysit his baby because he's got a wedding to go attend. Anyways, Peyton and Jaylee Hames talk when Nathan pulls up in a new Mustang, and he's talking about taking Jaylee to a Sheryl Crow concert tomorrow night. Lucas is lifting weights and trying his damnedest to keep on the team, but then Coach wants to see him. Speaking of Coach, it's practice time and tensions are high. Brooke and Peyton are fighting, and it's so over between them. Speaking of fighting, Nathan is fighting with both of his parents, and oh look, Lucas is fighting with his mom and Jaylee Hames. He heads to a bar and a kinda creepy girl is flirting with our boy, and in a moment of weakness, he succumbs to the siren's call, and they go on an adventure. Cut to Peyton sketching and feeling sorry for herself until she gets a call from Karen about Lucas being missing. Brooke is watching this shitty Texas Chainsaw remake on TV until Peyton shows up, and they go on a journey to find him. They reach the bar and he's gone. He's off with Creep Lady at the mall, and they have sex on a carousel, and then she disappears without a trace. What a strange night for a curse or something. Lucas comes home, he makes up with his mother, blah blah, Nathan parent drama, and Peyton's off to go babysit. Lucas goes and visits Coach, because Coach is a monolith of morality. He apologizes and whatever. We cut back to Deb and Nathan, and it turns out his mom had an affair, lol. God, I hate it here. Nathan loses his shit and he goes to see Jaylee Hames, and she tells him about the powers of petitioning for emancipation. We get to see Peyton's babysitting adventure until Jakey comes home, and he offers her dinner and a movie. Cut back to Nathan, and he's doing the thing like a champ. He's going to get himself free. Lucas then continues his apology crusade by going straight to the final boss, Brooke. She is not buying it. So good job, Luke, you're killing it. Standard shots around town, everyone's a sad rat bastard, and we end with a reveal that the carousel girl turned out to be Jenny's mother! Episode 17 of 187. Nathan successfully got emancipated and got an apartment. Haley's doing just fine, and Brooke is being a super ultra mega cheer bitch because of the upcoming cheer classic this weekend. She also hires Mouth, who I somehow haven't mentioned until now, to spy on the enemy cheerleaders for an extra advantage. Lucas is drafted to help coach Nathan before the big game, and it goes just as poorly as you'd expect because Nathan is a dirty little rat. Anyways, we're in a hotel, and oops, the Scott brothers are in the same room and they hate each other, almost as much as Brooke and Peyton hate each other. Wacky out-of-town shenanigans occur, rival cheer team bullshit occurs, and oh wow, the reigning cheer champ is a blonde asshole who's got an IQ rivaling the ambient temperature of a blizzard. Who could have seen that coming? Wait, it's the 2000s? Sorry to comment, please carry on. Blah blah blah, due to wacky shenanigans, the cheer team is down a cheerleader, and Peyton recruits Jaylee Hames to fill the 10th spot. The girls assemble and we're off to the races. The boys are off to the stripped club for the night. The cheer bitch from earlier comes and chastises them, and then Mouth comes and provides the information he's learned. And he doesn't just provide a video. Oh no, this boy can dance like a champ. He literally memorized their entire routine and can do it better than they can, cause he's just built different like that, I suppose. Like he's doing flips, rolls, splits, and he's doing it like a champ. Brooke is losing her shit and she hastily assembles a new routine for the squad. Cut back to the boys and they're in the stripped club, straight up jorking it. And by it, well, let's just say, they're peanuts. Nah, I'm just messing with you. It's ladies' night and it's an all-male strippers, so they bounce because it's the 2000s and something not gay. The cheer team is in the hot tub in the hotel when suddenly the dudes come flooding in and get into the pool until Coach comes and loses his goddamn mind over the guys having some fun. Anyways, the cheer comp comes up and the girls come so close but are still so far. They don't win overall, but Brooke wins the much more important best choreography, much to the chagrin of rival cheer bitch. Anyways, the boys are ballin', and guess what? The move that Lucas was trying to teach Nathan is what wins the game. Guess that Lucas knows what the hell he's doing, huh? Anyhows, the weekend comes and goes, and Brooke is back to hating Peyton. Huh. I suppose you could say it's the same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Lucas is still trying his best to basketball despite his shoulder, and Nathan moves into an empty apartment because he's free and I'm not. Episode 18 of 187. It's time for the annual Tree Hill Boy Toy Auction, which is basically legalized prostitution of these high school boys. I cannot make this up. It's a charity event or something where people can bid on the basketball boys, and they have them until midnight. Anyway, everyone starts going nuts bidding on the big ticket items like Lucas, Nathan, and Jakey. Much to Peyton's chagrin, Jakey got sniped by some other girl, but then it's Lucas time, and these women are thirsty for the boy because he goes for $115, the highest of the night, and then Nathan goes on the selling block. Jaylee Hams convinces Peyton to purchase Nathan, and she does for $112.43. Surely nothing can go wrong. Also, Mouth, who wasn't even an option, got auctioned off for $200 by a very sad and lonely Brooke. The main couples have switched around, and they have a nice, wholesome night of bonding and friendship and repairing the damages they've done. They've done something good. Anyways, not so good is that the girl who purchased Jakey is Jenny's mother! God damn it. We can't have anything nice here. Anyways, we get awkward dates galore, and mostly we prove that Nikki/Carousel Girl/Jenny's mother is unfit to be a mother, and she gets pissed. Anyways, Lucas says the phrase, quote, "I just want to play ball again," with the weirdest possible inflection, and it kills me. Everyone had a good night except for Jakey, who was the victim of a big mistakey and will continue to be. Mouth and Brooke's date is very funny, and God, I love Mouth as a character. We also get the second Ryan Adams song of the show, Note to Self, Don't Die, and this will be on the test. Anyways, Jaylee Hames got Nathan's jersey number tattooed above her ass. No natural point for me to bring this up except for now, I guess. Moving on, we get some other character stuff. Jaylee Hames and Lucas continue to be good friends. Peyton and Nathan are doing fine and bonding, but Nikki and Jakey are having a shit night. Everyone except for Jakey was having a good night, essentially. We also get petty drama when Lucas forgets the rules of the charity thing and realizes that everyone gets a kiss at midnight when he sees Peyton and Nathan kiss. Anyways, next episode, please. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention Keith proposes to Karen and he gets shot down hard. And also the episode ends with Brooke having a pregnancy scare, so that's nice. Episode 19 of 187. So, Brooke's preggo, and even if they aren't together, Lucas is gonna be there for this kid because he's a good person, damn it. They go to the doctors the next day, and Brooke is gonna find out in a few hours if she really is preggo. Nikki invades Jakey's house, and I don't get why he doesn't just shoot her right then and there for home invasion, but that's just me and my foresight into the rest of this shit show. Anyways, the death march continues onward. Skipping over a bunch of shit, Nikki is a psychopath and she'll stop at nothing to steal this baby she clearly didn't want. So she goes over to Jakey's house. Peyton is there. They almost throw down, but Peyton's a good person and walks away. Luke and Jakey have a conversation, and Luke realizes he'll do the right thing, whatever Brooke's choice is, because he's a good person. Do you get it yet? Anyways, he can't sleep that night. He tells his mom, and she slaps him. Then they immediately have a much more in-depth conversation. Shit hits the fan, and Luke comes to the conclusion that he'll stick with Brooke through whatever choice she makes. And then after this whole big speech he gave about always being there for her, she tells him that she lied. She tries to justify this through something about how he hurt her or whatever, but it backfires horribly because of how he was ready to derail his entire life just to support her. Anyways, Nikki is stalking Jakey, and Keith is about to leave Tree Hill because of Karen's rejection and how this place no longer feels like home. Episode 20 of 187. Alright, 3 episodes left for the first season. We can do this. So, Nathan's apartment has become Tim's party pad, but Nathan and Jaylee Hames decide to throw their own party at his apartment. Thank you, this is a beautiful party. You invited all my friends. Anyhows, Lucas is in the schlump and he can't make a single shot. Then Brooke comes and she starts being her usual bitchy self. The party is getting prepped because Tim is here. He'll invite the whole damn school even if it's not his party. Anyways, Brooke is a bitch and you know the rest. Also, Nathan has to start working food service in the mall to make money. He sucks at it and can barely keep his job. The funny thing to note here is that there's a Pepsi machine that only has Pepsi. Like, I'm talking about every single, thing that you could pick from on there, all 8 of them or whatever on the soda machine are just Pepsi. And it's very funny to me. Anyways, it's just a weird background thing. I think it's funny. So, it's party time tonight, and Lucas and Peyton are going together unofficially. And of course, Tim took over the party for himself. Brooke goes out drinking and nearly rips the head off of some guy because she's based like that. But then she befriends Nikki, and they go party crashing. Nikki and Peyton almost tear each other's heads off, and it's entirely Nikki's fault. Why anyone likes her is beyond me, but she then tells everyone that Lucas had sex with her, and now everybody has been betrayed by him. Yippee! Anyways, Nathan finally comes home and the cops show up. He gets arrested because it's his apartment and Dan bails him out. They fight and everything sucks. Brooke ruins everything, you know? Speaking of, she comes to Peyton's house and they make up. How sweet. They talk about Lucas and how he's just a guy and he makes mistakes, how Nikki's a bitch, and all sorts of other shit. It doesn't matter because Lucas is boned. He has no shot with anyone now. Lamau. Episode 21 of 187. The playoffs are coming! And Nathan is here to make sure Lucas is back on track for the playoffs, but he sure as hell won't be. Peyton hates him. Brooke hates him. Everything is going against him. Even Coach is getting surgery, which means the playoff game is going to be coached by Dan. Lucas starts having second thoughts about Danny Boy when he finds out that he sought joint custody, but he'll snap back to his senses eventually, right? Anyhows, Nathan's life is going great. He's got a job, an apartment, he's working out with his brother, and it's wacky. Anyways, Jaylee Hames is using Nathan's computer, and oopsie, Nathan doesn't know about using a private browser because he's got porn bookmarked to his computer and she finds it. I've neglected that they haven't been having sex despite basically living together, so apparently she's mad that he's been jacking it for J-Man. Anyways, things are falling apart and they're about to get worse. Brooke and Peyton are babysitting Ginny and go shopping when they look away for 2 seconds and Nikki steals the baby. Wow! And the police do nothing. Wow! God, this show sucks! Anyways, Nathan gets chastised for having orgies for one. Eventually the baby is returned, but Jakey is on edge and nothing is going right. Yippee! Wah-ha! Anyways, Jaylee Hames and Peyton talk and she eases her mind about Nathan's jorking it to internet porn. Lucas and Nathan talk a bit. Lucas nearly kills him with some well-timed jokes about calling him a porn freak and telling him, just stay away from the sites with farm animals, alright? They're bonding when Dan sees them and he freaks out internally. Dan starts being a shit-ass coach and overworking the boys before playoffs. It's mostly just because he wants to straight up overwork Lucas out of being able to play. Anyways, after the baby kidnapping debacle, Peyton gives Jakey and Ginny a way out. Through the powers of going to Georgia, baby! Yeah. Oh yeah. Quick divorce update. The papers are in. All that has to happen is Dan signing them and we're off to the races. Back to the baby plot though. It's the next day and Jakey embarks on a big journey. He's moving to Savannah. Just try and stop him. You won't. As devastated as Peyton is, Lucas is always there for her. But he's making some changes and he wants to leave Tree Hill with Keith. And that's how we end the episode. episode 22 of 187. Alright, season finale. What do you got? We start with Lucas' narration about the meaning of Ravens and its playoff times. Dan is the coach though, and this means it's so over for them. Despite how much of an improvement the boys have made, Lucas and Nathan's relationship won't mean shit to Dan. Anyways, it's an episode of flashbacks and we see Nathan and Jaylee Hames making up and out in the rain. And it's sweet, but I have like 165 more episodes to cover, so let's go. No time to slow down. This shit train has got to keep on moving. The playoffs are going on and goddamn do the boys suck now. It's all Dan's fault though. Anyways, pointless flashbacks. And oh hey, we've got Brooke acting her ass off to trick Nikki. She lies to her and say the baby is in Seattle now. Oh yeah. Lucas is moving to Charleston after this season ends, and this breaks Haley James's heart because she's his best friend. I know that I've driven that joke into the ground by now, but really they actually are. And not in the, the room kind of way. Anyways, back to present times, the boys lose the game, and it's because Lucas missed the final shot. And this was all an excuse for Dan to yell at everyone, but especially Nathan and Luke. They're good friends now. It's hilarious just how terrible Dan was at coaching. Anyways, Lucas is leaving tomorrow, and it's so over for him. So, let's see. Nathan and Haley get married. Deb and Keith have a one-night stand. Lucas goes to the hospital for an x-ray and to see coach. Dan is a cuck and sees Keith and Deb's one-night stand. Brooke sends Nikki to Seattle, as mentioned earlier. Peyton and Brooke are friends again, and all is well. Just kidding. Lucas and the boys play one last street match, and he'll be gone in the morning. The brothers have a good relationship now, and everything's great. And of course, before he leaves, his mom reminds him that there is only one Tree Hill. And then I killed myself. God, this is maybe the worst title drop I've ever seen, and I've seen some terrible title drops. Anyways, the divorce subplot continues because Dan has a heart attack mid-signing the divorce papers. Let's go! Feels good, man! And with that and the old shots around town, we are out of here. 1 season down, 8 more to go. May God have mercy on us all. Next time on A Leg of Glazed Ham is committing to the bit and is talking about One Tree Hill. Because Dan is dead! Woo! And you know what? He's never gonna die. So you know what that means. It's time for heart disease, baby! We love Coach in this house. And if you don't, get out! Tim! I have no idea if that actually worked, so we're just gonna take that one again. Peyton!